For my age, the media's represented it's quite harsh and quite almost nasty on people my age, stereotyping them to be like drunks and only focused about sex and like drugs and things like that.
I feel that it's very stereotyped that young people are thugs or, you know, doing whatever.
The reason why programmes that do depict us in a bad way are out there is because there are people like me that watch them. We kind of fuel the programmes.
I think there's a lot of stereotyping. That's the way it comes across to me. That the older people are always shown to be rather curmudgeonly or so set in their ways, which is not the case at all. Because obviously, having been involved in the music industry, you know, a lot of my friends are in their 60s and into the 70s, and they no way act as they're expected to, I can assure you.
I personally think it's depicted reasonably well within the boundaries of how it can be. I mean, obviously there is no point in having 75-year-olds running about playing netball. So from that aspect, you know, sport has to be within, I mean, okay, they'll put on the seniors golf, etc. But I mean, things like David Attenborough doing the Frozen Planet, I just think is amazing. And they'll also do sort of children's awards. So I think on the whole, it's fairly good.
I often use the word for older generation, the word retirement. And I mean, that word retirement has terrible connotations of longing, of uselessness, of not knowing what to do, confusion. Whereas, I mean, in Europe and other countries, they actually don't even have a word for retirement. It's jubilation. They use the word jubilation, which is celebration, to celebrate, you know, happier, etc. So in that sense, I think that age, you know, it has, the way it's depicted in the media, it's not, you know, it's not as positive as it could be.
Quite old, quite frumpy, and we tend to be
I'm okay with there being humour, and I'm okay with the factual piece. So pretty much they get the balance right, I think. But it's key that there's some humour around, there is exaggeration, there is the factual piece, there is the young meeting middle and old, and no, it's good.
Generally, I think it's fine. I do think it needs to not just be looking at the older age group, not just be focused on comedy, that there needs to be an offset against that, and that older people should be portrayed positively.
It's not important to me in watching the programmes. I tend to watch a programme that I would enjoy, irrespective of the age issue. But for people that are going to represent my age, I would just like them to avoid stereotyping and judgmental comments.
I would like to see is that all ages are represented fairly, and that women of a certain age are not got rid of just because that they seem to be less attractive than their much younger counterparts. And that sort of, you know, mature, intelligent women such as Moira Stewart, who's now doing an excellent job on Chris Evans, and Angela Rippon, and, you know, all the other ladies that they've deemed to be past their sell-by dates, still have a very valid contribution to make. And they are excellent role models, and that people, whether they like it or not, do take on messages via the media.
Like I say, especially for my age, obviously going out and having fun and getting drunk is part of what my age and my culture do. But I think there's other things, like, for example, I've got a job, I've had a degree, I look after 30 children a day, so obviously it's not all drugs, sex, parties.
I have no thought on it at all.
It needs to be a mixture of...
Because it's of no importance.
From my point of view, I don't think age is that important. I watch a program if it's funny or entertaining or informative. I never really think about age. Age doesn't really come into mind. I watch it because I want to see how well it's written, or, you know, if I find it entertaining, that's why I watch it. Age isn't very important to me.
And my personal preference is I don't really mind how I use media as an escapism. I might read the paper for facts, but TV is an escapism for me. The radio is escapism for me. I use media as entertainment rather than reference material for my way of life.
I must admit, until today, I hadn't really thought of it too much. I've obviously not seen enough negative items for it to register with me. I tend to concentrate on the quality and content of the programmes rather than the age issue.
I think media is more like entertaining for people, so I don't think it really affects any age group, apart from certain programmes like news and stuff like that.
Age is a big factor and how it's kind of depicted in the media. I think for myself, my age group, in certain situations, in certain programmes, is portrayed in a very bad way. But then there are other situations and programmes where it's a good way. It doesn't really bother me, but thinking about it and thinking about an older age generation and then watching kind of the younger generation programmes, that's kind of the views of probably how they view the younger, the public, and it's not always the right way. So I kind of think that maybe some of the younger generation programmes need to kind of reflect or portray the younger generation in a bit of a better way.